Hey, cool. Peace. Kian here. Welcome to the studio. Welcome back. Welcome to the Tone Shack. Today, I'm going to start a series on guitar love. The beautiful things. I'm going to start a series on going through the guitars that I'm fortunate to own, the guitars that I've worked incredibly hard for throughout my life to get hold of and to play and to keep and to cherish. So today I'm going to start with my number one Les Paul, which is this one. It's a 1994 Les Paul Standard in Honeyburst, and I'm going to tell you a few stories, show you a few things, let you listen to it throughout the years that I've been using it in the Tone Shack, my studio, on some of the albums that I've produced, some of the songs, show you some pictures, talk about the Les Paul, and ask you guys, do you love the Les Paul? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Let me know down below. Have you got one? Let me know. I think they're beautiful, but we can discuss that later. So if you're here, thanks for being here. I know you could be anywhere else. If you like the channel, subscribe and hit that bell down the bottom to get more notifications on more videos that are coming your way. So let's get to this. Gibson Les Paul. Woohoo. Yeah. This Les Paul, I bought it in Dawson's in Chester, where I live, back in 1994. Wow, all that time ago. I bought it from new, and I just love it. I had a black Les Paul that I'd bought because I wanted a black Les Paul. Maybe it was the Joe Perry thing from Pump and Get a Grip album and stuff like that. I don't know, but I just always loved black Les Paul, the ebony ones. And then on one of my many trips there to have a look to see if that was the Paul for me, I bumped into some who became a really good friend of mine, Tony, and he had just bought a Les Paul, exactly the same as this one, a Honeyburst one. And I remember he'd just come in, he had it set up and he was just picking it up. I remember watching through the window of this booth where he's setting it up, and I was just like drooling. I was thinking, oh, that's what I want. So I had to play that one, and then I just said to the guy, I said, forget the black one, get me one of them. So he got me one in, which was this one, and when I played it, it was just like, yep, that's the one, that's what I want. So this is what I ended up with. It was more expensive, but you know, you fall in love with a guitar and you just have to take what the price is, I suppose. Okay, so let's get up close and personal with this Les Paul. Okay, so you can see here there's some wear on the finish. There's some arm rash on the side there, which is going through the lacquer. There's some dings and dents there, but you'd expect it for the age of the guitar. On the back, on the neck, there's quite a lot of wear, and there's some lacquer and knocks there. You could see a knock that's gone into the wood. I'm a bit concerned about that one. I need to get that one checked out. Then looking at the headstock, there's a whole story coming along about the headstock on this guitar. If you can see there's a lot of checking on the lacquer on the front and the back. A lot of knocks, bangs and scrapes on the headstock. The Grovers were replaced by me from the original Cloisons when I first got it. There's another story about those, the reasons why I changed those. But you can see there's quite a lot of knocks on the headstock. Still got the lovely moustache, the Gibson moustache there, but a bit rounded at the edges, so we say. A lot of checking, but you'll find out why. And then on the back, it's quite clean on the back, really. From the belt buckles I used to wear when I was younger, I was quite surprised that that's quite as clean as it is, but it's a beautiful guitar. Okay, cool. So let's have an interesting story about this guitar. It's got a pretty interesting life round about the year 1999, 2000, might have been 2000. I was living just over the way in Chester, just over the other side of town, and I went out one day, and when I came back, I opened my front door and I walked into my house, and you used to be able to see the back gate through. You walk into the front door and you see the back gate straight through the lounge, the dining room, and out into it had a yard. It was a terraced house, and you could see the back gate. And I remember standing there and thinking, I don't think I remember anyone coming around to play guitar today. And then I realised that I was being burgled, I was being robbed. So I ducked down, chucked whatever I had bought on the settee, ducked down, and I ran through the house to the door, the back door, went out the back door, and just launched at these two, let's call them slime bags, who had been robbing my house. So they just managed to get the gate open. One of them was holding 2 guitar cases, and that to me was like, you've been in my house for one, but you're picking up my guitars? Okay. It is a fair game. So I ended up, one of them got out the gate, and I ended up doing a flying rugby tackle out the gate and getting the one who had the guitars. He threw the guitars down as I sort of hit him. The other guy got away and legged it, and then this other lad, so the scumbag, I just kept hold of, waiting for somebody, and I was shouting for people to phone the police and shouting for help, and nobody came. So he decided to have a bit of a go. So there's a bit of a skirmish and stuff like that. But he gave up after a bit. But I was waiting for someone to come, and nobody came at the house, and I was really upset about that. But then I had a choice. A guy was coming back. The guy could have come back, the other one, and picked up the stuff. And I had this scumbag in I had him in a lock that he wasn't getting out of, and I was just waiting for somebody to come and help. Or I had the guitars lying on the floor and all the other stuff that they're stolen at the house. So he had a bag on his back, which I told him to take off, but he couldn't take it off. And then it was like, well, there's 2 guitar cases. I have no idea what they've taken, what they've got. So I had to make a choice. So I picked him up and I pinned him against the wall. I went to get the guitar case, and he wriggled free and legged it. So I had a choice. Do I go after him and leave my stuff, or do I put my stuff away? So I had to pick up my guitar. He's got a bag, whatever's in that, we have to take. So I got the stuff back in the house. I got the guitars back in the house. Opened one of the cases, and in the wrong case they'd put this. So this was in a flat case, which should have been for a Telecaster or a Strat with a flat neck, not with a tapered headstock, or not with a tapered, with an angled headstock. So what happened was, and you see it on the picture, when they'd thrown this guitar down in a flat case, it hit the neck there at the end of the headstock and basically snapped the headstock off the guitar. So I was like, oh no. I won't say if I cried or not, but I was very close to it. But the guitar, the headstock, it's a weakness in a Gibson, and everybody who knows has had a Gibson knows that. There's been plenty of guitars that have had the headstocks broken off, had the neck's broken on a Les Paul, and had the guitar fixed. One of probably the most notable was probably Gary Moore's guitar, which was Peter Green's guitar, the famous greeny guitar, beautiful 59 Les Paul. I think that was damaged in a car crash. It was in the boot, and a car hit the car in the rear end and broke the guitar. I don't know, but so I was like, oh, I'm devastated, but I can get it fixed. So I did get it fixed. I ended up sending it to Robbie Gladwell, I think it was, who used to work for Guitar, or who used to write for Guitarist, the Guitarist magazine here in the UK, and he reset the neck and reset the headstock and glued it up, got it all back working absolutely perfectly, to the point where actually on the pictures you can actually hardly see where the break was, and if I'm honest, I cannot, and when I got it back, it didn't feel any worse. It actually felt better to play. Now I don't know whether that's my psychological feeling that, oh my god, my guitar back, my baby. But it didn't feel any worse. It didn't feel, there was no problems with the action, and there was no problem with playability at all. It actually played better. So it was a trauma to go through. It's not nice to see people in your house when they've not been invited and they're taking your stuff. But to have your guitar taken and to have it damaged, broken, it was a pretty tough time. Especially for this guitar, because this is a very, very dear guitar for me. This is my number one. This is the one I use all the time on virtually every record that I make, every song. It's my number one when I put out videos or pictures of me when I'm playing live. This one is this guitar is the one you'll probably see more often. So it was tough, but I'm glad I got it back. If I had been 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, I might not have had this guitar. It might have gone, and I might not have been able to get it back. You hear horror stories of gear going missing. Okay, so from not a very nice story, but it had a happy ending because we got it back and it plays and sounds amazing. Let's listen to some tones. Let's listen to some things that this thing can do. Okay, cool. that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a bunch of comments to let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell to get news and information when there's new material or new content coming your way. This is my Les Paul. It's a guitar that's very dear to me. I use it all the time. It's on every song virtually, or definitely every album that I make, that I play, and it's my main guitar when I go out and play live. Please let me know if you're a Les Paul fan. Let me know down below whether you like Les Pauls, whether you love them, whether you hate them, whether you don't think they're very good, you think they're overrated, or whether you think they're the best thing in the world. Let me know other things that you'd maybe like me to do on my channel, what other videos you'd like to see, what other content. But that'd be great. So until next time, thank you for being here. You guys and girls are awesome. So it's all things guitars, songs, new music, and home studios here with Kian Sparks in the Tone Shack. So I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day and peace. Cool.